hokey pokey with the status of the athletic director. He is the guy, then he isn't the guy, then he is the guy, and we shake it all about. We do the hokey pokey and we turn ourselves around because that's what mismanagement's all about. What are we doing? You know, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because we haven't really talked about a lot about football this week. Tonight we are. But I just got to say, I am really tired of two massive things. I'm glad that you stood firm on something. I'm glad you had the balls to stand firm on something. I'm glad you had the guts to stand on something. I'm glad you didn't back down from something. You are in a critical time, and you got to go get the best head coach in the country. Man up and go get him. Stop playing this Rudy Poo-ass shit and go get him. Go get him. Whether you think it's Lane Kiffin, Marcus Freeman, Kenny Dillingham, Brent Key, I don't give two Rudy Poos who you want. I don't give two Rudy Poos. But I'm glad you made a stance. I'm glad you finally made a stance. Because good Lord. Oh, and by the way, giving all of your status updates to one team ain't gonna fly around here either. You're trying to build allies. Better make sure the allies isn't getting their asses whooped by viewership. But that's neither here nor there. Nevertheless, we're live. Everyone do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. Every AYS Sports Show is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. Download the FD Sportsbook app today. If you got Apple or Android iPhone, download the app. You think LSU is going to cover that 9.5-point spread? Hell, do you think they're going to win on Saturday? The one place that you need to bet that is with our partners, over at FanDuel. Do us a favor and download that app. Go place the bets if you want parlays, futures, just money line bets. Number one sportsbook inside the state of Louisiana is FanDuel, and it's a reason why. It's because they are flat out the best. Thoughts, questions, concerns, go to FanDuel.com/RG for more details. I think I told you this on Monday. I love the RG function. It is for reliable gambling or responsible gambling, but you can do your settings there. If you're spending too much money and you want to set some limits for yourself, that's what it is there for. They also have thoughts, questions, and concerns, and when you can go in there and you can place those bets and go to a limit. Let's go there and have fun. And we are glad to be partnered with FanDuel because of all of those things that they put in place for you and I. So tonight, we're going to get to keys to victory. We're actually going to talk about a little bit of football. We're going to talk football on a hot board. Now that at least today I don't want to say the drama has superseded itself. I'm not going to say the drama has gone away because I think the drama, if we're being blunt, is only just started here in the long range of things. But we'll get to a hot board. Names that, look, if it's not Lane Kiffin, where are we going? Maybe some things that I'm hearing too. We'll get to that here tonight. Frank Wilson met with the media. We'll talk about that. 2-minute drive for this first team offense, and they threw a pick. So we'll talk on that as well, and some other things that Frank Wilson said. And as we do every Thursday in our patented way, we'll get to keys to victory. We'll go offense and defense. Feels good to actually talk about some football here. Let me just pick up on where I left off just a moment ago. I am glad that LSU has stopped playing the hokey pokey with its AD search. I'm glad that you stopped playing the hokey pokey with what actually was going on with Verge Alsbury. Look, you made the announcement. You did it. Good. Stick with it. Just because you had political pressure, and I mean political pressure, to not make the appointment, just because you had pressure from people who were coming after you pretty vigorously about the Hush Blackwell report, you made the decision. Now you got to stand firm in it. And the bottom line is now Verge Alsbury, Scott Ballard, and Wade Roos have the biggest objective for this university and for its future. No matter what you want to tell me, I know academics is a big deal. But when you have a successful football team, tuition goes up. Wade Roos isn't going to be really completely worried about the academics. That's why you're bringing in a chancellor. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I keep belching. But Scott Ballard, Wade Roos, and Verge Alsbury have the biggest how do I want to say this? Those three men have the biggest obstacle of all when it comes to LSU. I don't care who's making the selection anymore. I think that this thing will get political when it comes down to crunch time. When that piece of paper gets slid across the table to Lane Kiffin, Jimmy Sexton, Kenny Dillingham, whoever in the hell it is, I hope that they're all aligned. I hope that they all are ready to do what is necessary to make this place great. Because if you're not, and if they're not, then you're going to be on the outside looking in again. One thing that I massively agree with Verge on, and we talked about this when he said it last Friday, we got to be in the 12-team playoff every year. You're damn right we do. You're damn right. It starts with going and getting an elite head coach. The second move that coach has got to do is bring in an elite strength and conditioning coordinator. You got to fill out the staff. And the truth of the matter is, to any head coach that's coming in here. So if you're listening to this and you personally know Lane Kiffin, send it to him. You got to come in here and hit the ground running from a recruiting standpoint because this place is going to have to go through a little bit of a rebuild. I don't think LSU fans are ready to have that conversation, but it is true. You're going to have to go in the portal. You're going to have to recruit to the high school ranks at a religious level. But you stop playing hokey pokey on a guy that you want to make the decision and be a part of the decision in Verge Alsbury. Now, Wade Roos said the other day that athletics, the first thing he said, he thanked God, he thanked his wife, and he said, I'm over athletics. Well, if that's the truth, then you better hit the ground running. This ain't McNeese State anymore, brother. It ain't McNeese State. This ain't the Cowboys. Pew, pew. This is the damn Tigers. This is the biggest university in this state. It is a national brand. It is a national brand that you can't mess up here. So, I say all that to say this. Whether you like the decision of Verge Alsbury, whether you don't like the decision, right now it's the decision. I'm glad they actually stood firm on something for once. Because the last thing that you needed the last 2 weeks is what the hell they did. If we're just being honest. You should have made the announcement, stood firm, says, if you don't like it, tough titty, said the kitty. You don't like Verge Alsbury being there? Kiss my Rudy Poo candy ass. That's what you should have said. You want to bark at it? Fine. But thank you for once making the adults making a decision. Now, I've seen my colleagues that cover this team saying, I'm glad he's cool with saying, oh, hey guys, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. No, stop. You knew you were having this 3 weeks ago. If the board wanted Verge and you caved to it, then you all better stand firm in it like you did today. I don't know why I'm burping so much. I have no clue, but I am. I have not been attacked this much ever. I've been called more things under the sun. But the truth of the matter is, it's about time you stood firm on something. I'm glad you did today. Let's get to a couple of things here. Jamie says, thoughts on Kelvin Shepard as head coach. I'd rather you promote Frank Wilson, personally, if you're asking me. If you're asking me about Kelvin Shepard, who's not first year today as a DC, I would go with Frank. Frank, understand, if you're going to go that, and what do I mean by that direction? I was asked, well, Blake, what do you mean by that direction? a guy that's not on top of your list. So even before you go to Joe Brady, before you go to Kelvin Shepard, before you go to anything, anybody that's not in the top tier of your list, if it comes down to like a Kelvin Shepard or a Joe Brady or a Colin Klein, as an example, and you don't get a sitting head coach from one of these other universities, I would go with Frank. But Frank has been a head coach, so they kind of put him in the other category, and he understands his place. I got to be real with you. I don't like the Kelvin. I would not like the Kelvin Shepard move because I think that he's going to have to, number one, learn on a job. Number two, it's a massive risk. Number three, with all this is the reason. And look, I've kind of tried to not, go here, but I think you need somebody established that's not going to. I don't want to say Kelvin would get pushed around, but he's going to need assistance. And when you got all of these hands in that cookie jar, you need a head coach who can tell the board of supervisors, the sitting president, the AD, and most of all, the governor to turn that boot sideways, shine it up really nice, and stick it up their candy asses if they start meddling with his program. Quite frankly, I want someone who's been a head coach before, quite honestly. I know that the former players are pushing for it. I know it's their guy. I get it. I think Kelvin Shepard's a great coach. I think he brings a lot of energy here. I don't know if it's what's best for us right now, quite frankly. So if you want to go get a Marcus Freeman, you want to go get, you want to go get a Lane Kiffin, you want to go get a Drink, you want to go get a Dillingham, you need to shoot for that first. If you can't get there, then fine. And if he is the next head coach, I will support it. But I think that a lot like what Dan Lanning went through the first couple of years, what a lot of these guys, Marcus Freeman, who was a DC, people forget this. He lost to Stanford. And last year, their schedule, everybody talks about their schedule, or with them going to the national championship, they did. They beat a Georgia without a starting quarterback. They lost to NIU, and they had, I think, the mid-70s. I think they were 77th in strength of schedule last year. It's not like they're playing hard competition. They did this year, and they lost. The two toughest teams that they played, they lost. You get my gist? So, Jamie, I would not personally go there. If we're going to get to coaches that are not high up on the rankings here, like guys that are established and that have worked somewhere and are currently working at a high level somewhere, then I would give the job to Frank. I'm not going, if you're asking me for a coordinator, I would just rather promote Frank if I'm being blunt with you. Scott Hoof became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you joining us. We have some content there. We talk quarterbacks this week. And, per what Frank Wilson said, seems like your first team offense threw an interception in 2-minute drill today because, of course, they did. Taylor says we need an offensive QB guru coach. I don't. So, Taylor, we're going to talk about this on the hot board after we get to Keys to Victory. I really want an offensive-minded play caller or a guy that's been a play caller. I do think college football, for what it's worth, I do think college football has shifted from CEO head coaches to actual play callers. Well, Blake, you just said no to Kelvin Shepard. Guys, he hadn't been a DC for a year yet. You get what I'm saying? There would be a lot that go. People forget about recruiting and how he would structure it. Kelvin Shepard would have to get help from people around him, and basically it'd be Verge's hires, Wade Roos's hires. An established head coach knows who he wants and is going to bring him in here. I want somebody with some skins on the wall, to be honest with you. Jason said, yeah, they lost to NIU. Yeah, they did. Two toughest teams they played already this year, they lost. Clayton says, what's up, Blake? What's going on, bud? He says, South Haven, Mississippi in the house. Good to have you in here with us. Worthless. I don't even know which. I don't know. Worthless. We're just going to call you that. Drink going to Penn State. Lane going to Florida. Very well could. Very well could. That definitely could happen. Brian says LSU is a joke outside of Louisiana. And listen, guys, go look at any of our content over the last couple of days. Any bit of it. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Go look at any of it. They're blaming me. They're saying, hey, you're overreacting to him saying, well, Verge might not be the AD yesterday. It is insane. It is insane. I don't get it. I don't get it, how people will do that. Leighton is in the 318-31 Great Winsboro, Louisiana stand-up. Good to have you in here. Yes, where is everybody watching from tonight? Are you in the 225-337-504-985, 318-31 Great? Where are you watching from tonight? And we have a lot of people that watch from outside of the state. Where are you from and where are you watching from tonight? All right. Let me get rolling here. Everyone do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Let me get to a quick break. We actually get to talk some football tonight. We do that next. Stay with us.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man. He's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler. He'll shoot you straight.
Hey, guys, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Red Stick Financial. They're your local residential mortgage broker located right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At Red Stick Financial, they find the bank that works for your particular set of needs to purchase the home of your dreams or refinance the current one. They truly are your partners in this process, and they pride themselves in helping individuals and families with one simple goal in mind, and that is to make home financing approachable, attainable, and stress-free. They are licensed in all Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. So from Amarillo to Meridian and everything in between, they have you covered. Red Stick Financial brings you creative, customized solutions, and they don't believe in the one-size-fits-all when it comes to loans. They even have special options for mobile and manufactured homes located in a flood zone and stated income financing for those of us who are self-employed borrowers. If you or someone you know is looking to buy a home, refinance an existing mortgage, or simply want to know what options are out there for your future, give Red Stick Financial a call today at 225-407-9250. That's 225-407-9250. Or check them out online at redstickfinancial.com. That's redstickfinancial.com. Before you purchase the home of your dreams or you go and do that refinance, you need to go local. Go Red Stick.
We're back.
All right. Taylor says, yo, Blake, is the fade still fresh? Man, I walked in the barbershop the other day. I mean, you can't tell it right here, but fade still fresh. Ratchet came on. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Started jigging to the chair. That's the only way I get my fades. Pause. But it's the only way I get my fades. Yeah, that fade's still fresh. Them women still calling at you, boy. I got to put a hat on because women be calling you, boy, man. It's a hard life sometimes. Listen, I'm not trying to be rude, but it's a hard. I mean, I'm just telling you. I mean, humbly, it's a hard life sometimes. Hard life sometimes. And then women be catcalling, man. I'm just telling you. All right. Yeah, Justin, we all got some ratchet in us. Well, you know what? It's a great way to segue as we put in some rally pillows here. We need to have some ratchet in us when we go into Tuscaloosa, Alabama this weekend as LSU takes on the Alabama Crimson Tide. It is Thursday. You know what that means. Oh, well, Blake, we hadn't really talked about football week. We were never going to miss keys to victory. Keys to victory for Alabama this week when LSU takes on the number 4 team in the country. Let's get to the offensive side of the ball. So what are the things on the offensive side of things that LSU's got to do to win this game? To me, against Alabama. Number one, I'm not going to stay long on this one because we talked about it a lot last night, but you got to do it offensively. You got to suffocate the time of possession. Listen, LSU this season is 89th in the country in time of possession. They've only held the ball for an average of 29 minutes and 20 seconds this season, which ranks 89th in the country. Well, Blake, we can't run the ball. It's why time of possession's wacky. You're right. But the problem is, we're going to get to this in just a moment. Time of possession is key here. If LSU finds a way to win, and what I mean by win the time of possession, at minimum, LSU's got to have the football for 35 minutes plus. At minimum. They're going to need to limit Alabama's offense with the explosiveness that they have. Keep them on the sidelines. I want drives of 8 to 12 plays per drive. Even if you got a 7-play drive, you get to a little past the 50 and you got to punt the ball away and play some field position. I don't care how you do it. If LSU's going to pull out a victory this week, barring some crazy stuff, they're going to have to win the time of possession. Why was LSU leading A&M at halftime? So glad you asked. Not that you were asking, but I'm glad you asked. Who led the time of possession at halftime? Who led it? Who controlled the game? You did. You forced them into bad decisions. And when you started giving them more possessions, when you started allowing A&M to dictate some things, then it was over. You have to be in control of your own destiny on Saturday. You have not been good in time of possession. Quite frankly, you threw the ball way too much with a quarterback who all of you tried to tell me was injured. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I don't really know. I just think there's a lot of regression there in a lot of ways. But I look at this in the sense of you got to hold on to that ball. I say this all the time when I talk about Herman Boone or talk about time of possession. Hold on to that ball, Petey. You're killing me. Hold on to that damn football. Run the ball. If you're getting 4 yards to carry, line up, run that son of a gun 3 straight times. Milk that clock. Milk that thing like a pregnant heifer. If you got to, milk that thing, no pause. If LSU doesn't win time of possession by 35 minutes plus, they're not winning. Blake, that's a long time to hold on to football. You better hold on to it. Because the God's honest truth is, you're going up against a team in Alabama. We'll talk about this when we do our defensive segment here in just a moment. Guys, they're 7th in the country in explosive play rate. They've hit explosive plays on everybody. They've hit it on Georgia, which I know Georgia can't get after the quarterback, but really you can't either sometimes. Georgia still is really good defensively. Really good defensively. The reason they're a top 20 defense yet again, and everybody's like, oh, man, they're doing really bad. Okay, well, they're still in the top 20 in total defense. So I sit here and I say to myself, listen, the best way to really take hold of this game is to hold on to that football. It is my number one key to victory. Suffocate the time of possession. Manage the game the best that you can. Go to a huddle if you got to. Call on the play, huddle up, 23 dive on 2 and 2. Ready? Get up to the line with 12 seconds left. Run the play. Go get 4 yards. I hate to say this, go a little less. And what I mean by less is go a little miles. Don't eat the grass. Go in there and get in a street fight. Sit in the pocket, not literal pocket. Sit in the pocket of the street fight that you're going to get in and land some uppercuts. Throw some body shots. Wear their ass down for 4 quarters. You're not winning if you don't have the ball for 35 minutes of time of possession. Now, the last 3 games LSU has played, they are almost dead last in the country in time of possession. 27 minutes and 10 seconds has been their average of time of possession. So let's walk through those 3 games. A&M, Vandy, and you guessed it, South Carolina. What do all those games have in common? The two games that you lost, you got your ass whooped in time of possession, especially in the second half, and you did not hold on to the football. Right now, you don't know if offensively you can score more than 25 points. You don't know that. So if you're going to have a chance, and maybe you can this week, maybe Joe Sloan was the problem. You got to make this one a shorter game. You got to make this a tight, close, non-high scoring game. If you do that, I really believe that I don't know if you're going to win, but I do believe that you're going to be in the fourth quarter and you're going to be within a score to go either tie it or win it. Guys, I fully believe it. I think that this is a really good matchup for you, honestly. You can't do the things, though, that you've been doing. You can't get in a rush. You can't get in a panic mode. To all the ladies that are watching the show, I'm about to tell a little analogy here. I'm sorry, but it's the only way I know how to say it. You ever heard the story of the Papa Bull and his son? They were sitting up on a hill. And the son said to the Papa Bull, he says, "Dad, I look down over this pasture as we sit up on this hill, and I see a lot of heifers. Let's run down there and go talk to them." And the Papa Bull looks at his son and he chuckles. He says, "Son, we ain't got to run. Let's walk." So what am I trying to say here? You have been so anxious and so overwhelmed by the moment offensively, from your play calling to your quarterback to every single little detail. You have been so anxious. Take a Valium. Calm down. Relax. 4 yards on a run is not a bad play. 7 yards on a pass is not a bad play. We have been trying to do so much that has been so stupid and making everything that we've been doing so difficult on what we need to do to accomplish to win a game. Now, well, Blake, Brian Kelly's not here. He's not. Joe Sloan's not here. He's not. What do you expect from Alex Atkins? What do you expect from Frank Wilson? Well, what I expect is that they're going to go in there and try to get in a dogfight. And I'm here for it. Can't keep losing these time of possession games, man. I mean, just go around all of football and look at the teams that lost the time of possession. It will tell you majority of the time, but not all the time, but probably about 80 to 85% of the time, it's going to tell you who just dominated the game. You know, it's why the Florida loss last year was so bass-ackwards, right? Because you did dominate it, and you should have dominated them, and you didn't. Have the Florida game approach from last season. Seriously. Have the Florida game approach from last season in a lot of ways. Not the execution, the game plan. Do you remember what that game plan was? Damn, man, LSU's kind of running the ball here. Well, Blake, this is Alabama that we're talking about. I get it, it's Alabama. Florida win last year, we didn't lose the time of possession. But about 85% of the time when you do, you're going to win it. You can't get in a shootout with them. You can't get in a shootout with a team that can score more points than you can, at least to what you've shown. So if we know, which we don't know, we have no clue, that's how you're going to have to win it. LSU's got to run the ball, man. I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, it's been a problem in a lot of ways. I do see a light at the end of the tunnel. I've talked about this a lot. Listen, LSU the last 3 weeks, or last 3 games, I should say, last month. Over the last month of games that LSU's played, they've had 58 carries from their running backs for 360 yards, over 6 yards a carry. this is not the best run defense that you've seen. It isn't. This Alabama team gets out of alignment, they get out of assignment, and there have been moments and times they have been pushed around. You know, I think about the Missouri game when I go back and watch Alabama, and I'm like, man, if Missouri would have just stayed with Ahmad Hardy and Roberts and Pabula running the football, they might have won it. They tried to get in a pass-happy attack with a guy in Bo Pabula that just couldn't throw the football effectively enough for them to get points. And then every time that they scored, guys, what was the key feature of what they did? They ran the ball. This isn't the Alabama of old. I actually think you might be able to run the ball this week. I do. I think that there is a chance. Excuse me. Such bad indigestion. I think that there is a chance that what you've seen over the last month from this running game is a flat-out lie from a statistical analysis standpoint of you being 122nd in the country. I see a lot of my colleagues going out there and saying we can't run the ball. Someone's going to have to start explaining to me the 6 yards of carry from your 3 running backs the last month. Because when I look at Vanderbilt as an example, guys, Vanderbilt is 20th in the country in run defense. A&M is 28th in the country in run defense. And South Carolina is midway through the pack of teams in college football in stopping the run. So what I mean by that is you've already, the last 3 teams that you've faced, all of them have had and faced, or you have faced, excuse me, all of them have had teams that are better at stopping the run than what we've seen from Alabama. Like it's not close. Guys, we're 9 games into this, right? Like this isn't something that, oh, well, I guess we got to kind of see to believe. No, you kind of, gosh, you're two-thirds of the way through this thing. 2/3 of the way through the season. You kind of are getting to understand what these teams are. So you've gone up against multiple top 25 run defenses, and you've been able to run the ball against those teams from your running backs. So I look at this and say, are you 122nd in the country in rushing? Yes, I think it's a lie. Let's see if LSU and Frank Wilson and Alex Atkins can build off of that, because I think that you can. Offensively, another big thing going into this game and a key to victory. If you're constantly in 3rd and 7+, you're going to lose. You're just going to lose. This Alabama defense, guys, has been one of the best in the country at getting off the field on 3rd down when it's 3rd and 7+. You're going to have to find a way to get multiple times in 3rd and manageable. Alabama's 103rd in the country on 3rd down defensively when it's 3rd and 5 or shorter. Quite frankly, run the ball, and if you got to throw it on 3rd down, make sure it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. Don't get into these long down and distances, because then you start really having problems. Because they have shown through 9 games that when teams methodically move the football, they're able to stay on the field and push the ball on Alabama. You know, I go back to the Vanderbilt game, and I'm like, how is that game tied at half? And then I go and look at every 3rd down from Vanderbilt. 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3. And I say to myself, well, they just kept converting on short yardage distance stuff. You have a chance here. I think that there is actually a game plan and a scenario offensively where you can test them and put pressure on them to almost kind of come out with a win here. No one thinks you can do it. I get it. No one believes it. Everyone believes you're going to get blown out. I get it. I get that. Guys, I look at the recipe for all of this and I say, yeah, I get what y'all are trying to tell me in the 122nd and rushing offense. I look at Alabama defensive and like, they're not good at stopping the run either. LSU's gone up against better run defenses where they've been able to run the ball. They just got more nervous than a long-tailed cat sitting next to a rocking chair, and they got scared. It's like the kid in school who sees a bully and he starts, Gary comes Gary. No, fuck Gary. Go punch Gary in his shit. So what? He's going to punch back. Punch him right in the nose and see what happens. I think you got a chance here. You got to run the ball. You got to win time of possession. And quite frankly, you can't be in third and longs. They do have a really good pass rush. LT Overton, Pierre, they have been very good at getting after the passer. Garrett's going to have to get to 2 reads and get out of there. Guys, this Bama, I'll give them this. Their pass rush has gotten so much better throughout the year. Pierre, LT Overton, a lot of the young guys that they're going to rotate in there, you're not going to have a lot of time. I'm just telling you. They have been very good the last month. Has Alabama. They have been able to get home with 4 religiously against better offensive lines than yours. So the bottom line remains, Garrett, get to 2 reads, tuck that son of a gun, and get north or south. I say north or south. Get vertical. He's not going to do that. You know that. I know that. But it's got to be beat into his head. Listen, man, you're going to have to make quick decisions. But bottom line, start making quicker decisions and start making right decisions. Are you prepared enough for what they're going to show you? Now, Kalen DeBoer is 15-4 coming out of a bye week. Here's the funny thing about that. At Alabama, he hadn't lost one. They're really well coached. Very well coached. They're going to throw things at you that you have not seen. But I think ultimately you'll be able to convert some situations on them if you've actually prepared for the moment. Now, I'm going to say one thing here, and I'm moving on. Is Garrett Nussmeier prepared for this? With all the chaos this week, we hadn't talked about the game much. Garrett Nussmeier's been around Joe Sloan for 4 years. And for the first time in 4 years, he has a different guy that's talking to him, telling him what needs to go down. A different guy in that headset. Nobody asked Frank this week, which is dumb. No one asked Frank this week, how was the communication between Alex Atkins and Garrett Nussmeier been? And in that question, they should have asked, has there been any clunkiness? Because, guys, you're going on the road to do this with someone that Garrett has never heard from. Have they prepared enough? I know that whether it be Tiger droppings on 3-247, because a lot of you send me these and DM me these about me saying, is Garrett been prepared and done and put in the work? Was play shows that maybe not. He better be prepared this week because there's no more excuses. You can't fall in the excuse of Joe Sloan. You can't fall in the excuse of Brian Kelly. And you can't fall in the excuse of your abdomen. When you get hit, don't get up limping. Sprint. Get to the ball. Show that you're mentally and physically prepared for this. I wonder if they're ready. I mean, 2 weeks is a long time. Clearly, we know it feels like 7 years since the last time that we played a game. But quite frankly, he's going to have 3 choices. Get out of there. Go through some quick reads and get out of there. You're athletic enough to get vertical. Be prepared, man. Be prepared. Hopefully he is. Another thing. Last thing about indigestion like a son of a gun. One thing that statistically that doesn't point out, but that the film does for me that I think is going to be interesting. You got to use Barryon Brown and you got to use Chris Hilton this week. Dijon Lee is a really good corner for Alabama. Going to be elite. He's basically like your DJ Pickett. 6'4", long, rangy, got a lot of speed. They mimic a lot of what each other does. It's basically, I think Lee's a little bit heavier than him. A little bit, got a little bit more muscle mass than he does. I've seen teams get vertical on Dijon Lee. I've seen him get vertical with speed. What's Chris Hilton's what is Chris Hilton's role in this game? I point that out. I pointed out. What is his role? What's Barryon Brown's role? You're going to have to try to get vertical on the boundary. I think LSU can get vertical on the boundary. I see both boundary corners for Alabama and do ask myself the question, can LSU's speed really give them problems? If you remember against South Carolina, I brought up LSU needs to attack the far left boundary. They did not do it. Alabama's scoring drive against South Carolina to win it, where did they go, by the way? Just asking. Regardless of that, I think that you can get vertical and take some shots and win those shots. I hope Alex Atkins sees that Jackson and Lee can get caught sleeping and you can get that you can get vertical on them. You need to take some shots. You're not winning if you don't take 8 shots to the boundary to either Chris Hilton or Barryon Brown. You're not winning. You can get past them. They're going to man up. They're going to play quarters. You can get vertical on them. I'm telling you, you can. Garrett or Michael Van Buren is going to have to sit in that pocket and deliver the football. Now, speaking of Michael Van Buren, last thing offensively before we move over to defense. I think for me, this isn't going to happen. Michael Van Buren, per Frank, is not going to start. We've talked about this a lot over the last 2 weeks. I think Michael Van Buren gives you the best chance to win. I do. I wonder what their game plan is with him. I do. Frank's been asked a lot about Garrett these past 2 weeks. Friendships with Doug Nussmeier need to be thrown out the door. I know you, for your first act, you don't want to I know you don't want to bench the kid. I get it. He does not give you the best ability to win. He doesn't. Guys, I will tell you, there's a fine line at the quarterback position. The health of your team is a part of that. Things start getting bad, you got to go to number 11. Let's just call it what it is. If you're asking me, he would start. Let's see what happens. Maybe you make a move, maybe you don't, but we'll see. Garrett's got to have a big game here. He's got to have a big game. All right, let's move over to the defense. We must be aggressive and be more aggressive than we've ever been. I look at Ty Simpson and say, listen, he's going to get his regardless. I hate to say it like this, but it's the truth. Ty Simpson is going to make really good throws. He is going to get you. You might as well get over it now. Because if you think going into this game that Ty Simpson's not going to make some elite throws and make some elite decisions, you're flat out wrong. The thing that I look at Ty Simpson the most, he's got 20 touchdowns and 1 interception. He's got 3 fumbles, though. When teams like Missouri, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Florida State, you name them, the teams that have had the most success against Alabama and slowing them down offensively sent elite amount of pressure, or they were able to get home with 4. I don't think you can get home with 4. The bottom line truth of all of this is you need to go after number 15. You got to send the house. I have a lot of faith that Mansour Delane, DJ Pickett, and PJ Woodland can do some good things here. I'm not saying be in man coverage the whole time. I'm not saying not to mix it up. I'm not saying any of that. I am sending ungodly amount of pressure on Ty Simpson. He's not mobile enough to beat you with his legs over and over. He's not going to run for 40 yards in the score is what I mean. They have been limited offensively when teams are able to disrupt that pocket. That has been the game plan that has kept every team alive when they play Bama. In the second half, Ty Simpson got sacked 0 times. In the first half versus Vanderbilt, he got sacked 2 times. Missouri, they went in a portion of the game, they went punt, field goal attempt. Made 1 field goal, missed another, and they punted on the rest. What happened there? Sack, tackle for loss, sack, tackle for loss, and they had a sack. Teams that are limiting this offense is sending ungodly pressure. Stop with the passive bullshit. I love Blake Baker. I got to be real with you. He's been way too passive. Is that a Brian Kelly thing? You know, there's some rumors out there that Brian Kelly didn't want the amount of pressure that Blake Baker wants to send. Frank, you got to let the beast loose. Mega pause on what I'm about to say. You got to pull the zipper down and let the beast loose. Pause. Massive pause. But you got to let this thing hang. They are really good at receiver. Jeremy Bernard, Holton, Ryan Williams. They're tight end. They are very good and have very good pass catchers. You're going to have to hold up on the back end. But you got to also let that thing hang. If it's a woman, you got to let the bra, you got to undo the bra strap, and you got to let them titties fall out, man. You got to let it hang. Because, guys, the truth of the matter is you will not win if you don't get home at number 15. You got to let the titties hang. You know when your old lady gets home and she takes the bras off and them things come out and she goes, oh, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. All of you've been there. Let that thing hang. Massive pause, but let it hang out. You got to rip it. Ty Simpson can get flustered in the pocket. He can. He's not a big kid. He's 6'2", 210, 215 pounds. He's not a big dude. He ain't going to run like that. Send the heat. Send the heat. Now, you keep calling the same shit over and over again, by the way, Ty Simpson will eat your ass alive. You better be very creative. By the way, teams know that you're sending the corner blitz. They know. Stop sending it. It takes too long. It takes too long. You got to get internal pressure. The number one thing to me that I feel like Ty Simpson hates the most is internal pressure. He doesn't like it at all. He hates it. When he's able to Drew Brees this thing and step up in it, he is elite at what he does. Guys, they're really good on offense. Let it hang. Let them titties hang. I want to come into this post game on Saturday night. And the first, if we get after Ty Simpson, win, lose, or draw, even if they blow you out, I don't want to be passive anymore. You've been way too passive the last month. And I want to come out here Saturday and say to all of you that were watching the show on Thursday to Keys to Victory, we finally did it. We let them titties hang. You better let it all out. Blitz all night. Make them remember the night they played the Tigers. All right. Something that's interesting on sending the pressure that you have not been good at doing. LSU is 89th in the country in tackles for loss. Alabama is 110th in the country at allowing tackles for loss. Something's got to give. Another thing that's been very interesting in watching all of this and watching Alabama this year, when teams send pressure, they're able to get them down behind the line of scrimmage. LSU has not been good at all at forcing negative plays. This week, you are going to have to. You got to get them behind the line of scrimmage. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. I think the blueprint is out on what you got to do religiously to beat Alabama and what gives them problems. Guys, they allow a lot of tackles for loss. A lot. They're 110th in the country out of 134 teams at allowing tackles for loss. Their run game's not good. We'll talk about that next. But teams that, like Georgia, didn't send pressure until the second half, and it was too late. It was too late. They figured it out late, and teams have replicated the second half game plan when Alabama in the second half versus Georgia only scored 3 points. Harold Perkins, man, this is your time to shine. This front seven, they have shown that they will be undisciplined in the interior of their offensive line. I don't know what else Blake Baker sees in reference to, hey, this team gives up a lot of tackles for loss because teams that send pressure after them, after Georgia did it in the second half, it's why they've struggled in moments and times. It really is. You got to get some negative plays here. Get them behind the sticks. If you do that, you'll find a chance to win here. Something key. If LSU has over 4 tackles for loss, actually, let me boost that number to 5. If LSU gets 5 tackles for loss, you're going to win this game. All right. Look, the corner position, you're going to have to lean in on faith on this one. You're going to have to lean in on faith. Trust in Mansour, trust in PJ, and trust in DJ Pickett, and let's roll with it. Last but not least, Alabama's 114th in the country in rushing. Outside of Jam Miller, they have been atrocious running the ball. Ironically, they have in moments and times been worse than you, but they stay with it because they have a play caller in Ryan Grubb who actually knows what he's doing. LSU's been good from the running back position in stopping the run. Whip their ass. You know, in 2021, you only allowed 6 rushing yards from Alabama. God, if you could do that again, you're going to win. I think it's your biggest strength, to be blunt with you. Vandy kind of got some rushing yards from the running backs on you as LSU offensively crapped down their pants because they couldn't convert on third down. Their offensive coordinator was an idiot, and their head coach didn't know what he was doing because he didn't seem like he cared, and his quarterback was making bad decisions. Regardless of all of that, teams didn't really run the ball on you a lot from the running back position. They didn't. The numbers bear that out. The film bears that out. You've done good in stopping it. You got to do that again. This team's not going to design stuff for Ty Simpson to run. Now, in the red zone, Big Caden Proctor's ass is going to run the football. And I'm interested to see what they're going to show you there if they show you anything. But Caden Proctor is probably going to get a carry. They've been very creative in the run game. Jeremy Bernard, their wide receiver, led them in rushing, by the way, a couple of weeks ago. And the way he led them in rushing was because he had a 35-plus yard run on a double pass and made some guys miss for 30 yards. Guys, you can do this. Everybody's looking at LSU saying they can't do it. Here's the truth. Look, this is the number 4 team in the country. I do think you're good enough to go in there and beat them. I do. You've had a lot of turmoil, which is why I'm like, man, this is a lot to overcome here. I think you can beat them. I really do. I think that this matches up very well for you. You got to send heat. You got to rely on your corners and just have faith and don't bail on them. The big thing for me defensively is they're going to allow a lot of tackles for loss if you allow them to, if you send the heat. I mean, it's really – the game plan's not really that difficult. They will do it. Look, you got to get over. You got to get over and stop being in panic mode that Ty Simpson's going to hit some shit on you this week because they're going to put up points. They're going to be explosive. But you got to stay with the centric game plan of, hey, man, he got one on us. He got another one on us. He got another one on us. Sounds good. You got to get to him because eventually you will. Get in the backfield and knock his fucking block off. And I think you got a chance. If you do all those things, you have a chance. Last but not least, this team does not turn the ball over a lot, meaning Alabama. They're number 1 in the country and not turning the ball over offensively. Got to find a way. Mansour Delane, you want to be the first corner off the board? Limit Ryan Williams. Do what you do against Ryan Williams. Listen, man, I like this matchup. I think if you play who you are and not this bullshit, and your offense isn't scared, like seeing like a groundhog seeing its shadow, I think you got a chance. I do. A lot of people thinking you're getting blown out. Now, if you're asking me, I would take Alabama to win. If you're putting a gun in my head and say, Blake, who are you taking? I would take Alabama to win. I think it's too much to overcome. I don't trust your offense. I don't trust your quarterback. I don't trust you defensively a lot of ways too. But, man, I think you got a chance. I do. I think this one can be close. So we'll see. Let me get to a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to these super chats, talk a little hot board next. Stay with us. Guys, let me tell you about our good friends over at Grand Slam Heating and Air, where your comfort is their top priority. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they promise to provide customers with high-quality HVAC service at an affordable price while ensuring the homeowner peace of mind. From their office to your home, they guarantee the best hassle-free experience around. Efficiency and comfort is their game. Let them make your home Grand Slam today. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they're offering their annual maintenance plan starting off at $18.75 a month and also doing those $99 tune-up promotions. They provide free estimates for system and ductwork replacement, as well as offering financing to get the job done with no money up front. From Baton Rouge to Hammond to Covington, they're all around. So what you need to do today, give them a call at 225-380-9065. That's 225-380-9065. Or go over to the website, getgrandslamair.com. That's getgrandslamair.com, where your comfort is their top. Hey, Southwest Louisiana, are you ready to gear up for your next outdoor adventure or tackle that next big job on the farm? Then head on over to Henderson Tractors, Boats, and Power Sports. At Henderson and Lake Charles, they've got everything you need under one massive 30,000-square-foot indoor showroom. Kubota tractors and mowers to power through the toughest tasks. Polaris off-road bikes and side-by-sides to conquer any trail. And tracker boats with brands like Ranger, Nitro, Sun Tracker, and Regency pontoons for a day out on the water. Whether you're a farmer or a hunter or just someone who loves the great outdoors, Henderson has what you need to get the job done and have fun while doing it. Browse their new and used inventory over at their website, hendersonimplement.com. That's hendersonimplement.com. Or give them a call today at 337-436-4366. That's 337-436-4366. Or go see him over in Lake Charles on the corner of East McNee Street and Highway 14. Remember, if you need a tractor, go to Henderson. Need a boat, go to Henderson. Or if you need an ATV or side-by-side, you know where to go. Henderson. Just let them know that your good friend Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you on by.
We're back.
What happens if you don't get Lane Kiffin as your next head coach? Where does LSU turn? So as this hot board and as this coaching carousel starts heating up here, I want to talk about a couple of things. Just some things that are out there, not even really related to LSU, but something that we should keep our eye on. There's some rumors, and more than rumors, a little bit of sourcing out there on a couple of these coaches, and I want to break it down and talk about it right quick before we get to some of your super chats here. Kenny Dillingham's name's come up a lot these last couple of weeks. It's really started taking pressure now this week when Arizona State has a bye week. I've heard some things around the ether, made a couple of phone calls, and it would seem like either Kenny Dillingham's doing one of two things. And then number one, he wants an extension from his alma mater, which he's going to get. Or number two, he wants his names in some of these big coaching carousel situations like Florida, LSU, Auburn, Penn State, that I think he would be very interested in. Look, I really like Kenny Dillingham. I don't always like how brash he is because it comes off as arrogant, but it would work here. The way that he talks, the way that he does things, I do think would work here. A lot of you have talked about fit. Let's talk about Louisiana. Guys, we are a brash people. What do I mean by that? We are a people that's just going to tell you like it is. We ain't going to really sugarcoat anything. We tell you if what you're wearing looks like shit, like what are those? Like he would fit the culture of the people here. Now he would drive you crazy, but he would drive you crazy in a good way and in a bad way. He's also a play caller. There are some things I'm hearing out there about Kenny Dillingham that I think he is really entertained by some of these jobs. Does not mean that he would not go back to his alma mater and stay at his alma mater in Arizona State. I think he 1,000% would. But there is some real traction to Kenny Dillingham having his ear open to any potential or potentials about some of these jobs that are open. Kenny Dillingham does have some experience in the SEC. He was at Auburn. And when he was at Auburn, he then reconvened with his former quarterback at Oregon named Bo Nix. Remember how that turned out for Bo Nix? Look how it turned out for Kenny Dillingham. I like him a lot. I do hear that he potentially would entertain an LSU, clearly. Auburn, clearly. Florida, clearly. I got to be real with you. If it's Kenny Dillingham, I would like it a lot. In the 3 seasons at Arizona State, he went 3-9, 11-3, and they currently sit 6-3. They've been beat to hell. This year, they've been injured. He had a backup quarterback situation where Jeff Sims ran for over 220 yards. Last week, they were 6-3 at this point last year, too. Or 6-2. I know a Mississippi State loss does not look good, and it shouldn't look good at all. But I think he's a really good play caller, and I think he's a really damn good coach. He's done a really good job at building Arizona State when they did not want to give him funds. Getting guys like Cam Scatterbo and Sam Levitt and Tyson and all of those. He would work his ass off here. And I think it would be a really interesting fit. And I hear that he probably would look elsewhere if the opportunity arose. And I think it'd be an interesting fit. A couple other things here I want to break up about the coaching carousel. I just don't see Brent Key leaving. I can be wrong, and these things change all the time. Brent Key was asked today about leaving Georgia Tech, and he goes, when you cut me open, you know the colors I bleed. Guys, it's different with Dillingham. I think he loves Arizona State, but he also has bigger aspirations for himself. Brent Key wants to really build Georgia Tech. Tough, gritty. He loves it there. He's from there. He does not want to leave, and he's gotten massive buy-in. He's gotten massive amounts of buy-in. I think if he makes the playoffs, which is likely, if they win the ACC, it's not maybe likely that they win the ACC, but it's a chance. He's building something a lot at Georgia Tech. With Brent Key, it does make me nervous what happens to them and to him post Haynes King. However, because they're so reliant on Haynes King, because Haynes King had 500 yards last week. 500 yards last week in a loss. He had well over 100 yards rushing. He had well over 400 yards. I think it was 400 yards passing last week versus NC State. Man, he was asked about it, and he is a brash, to the point, no playing around. I know Brent Key's been on a lot of y'all's like hot boards. I'd take him off because I don't think he's leaving. Just me, but we'll see. Couple other names here that I want to get to. So Lincoln Riley's name has come up around a lot of Florida circles over the last week. A lot of Texas Tech circles too. I think Lincoln Riley, actually, let me back up. I have heard through the grapevine, not sourcing this, but just some things that I hear. I've heard through the grapevine that Lincoln Riley wants out of LA. I don't know if Texas Tech would move on from Joey McGuire. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. But I think that they probably would for Lincoln Riley. I have heard rumblings that Lincoln Riley, yes, that Lincoln Riley, like Southern Cal Lincoln Riley, has really pushed himself to try to get that Florida job. It would seem at the current moment that if Lane does not go to Florida, that Lincoln will really push himself to get there. So much so I've heard some things that he would even be a part of his own buyout because he wants out of there so bad. All of these things are rumors. But I just asked the question, if he wants out so bad, what would you do with him? Would you give him a look? He definitely is on the market. I don't know if I go there. You've already dealt with Trace Armstrong, his agent. I don't think it fits here. As I think he does fit more with a Florida than he does in LSU. He doesn't really fit here for me. I don't see the fit. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not. I just don't personally see it. But his name's out there a lot. Josh Pate brought it up the other day or yesterday about it, and he's not wrong. I've heard he's really pushed for that Florida job, so we'll see. A couple other names here that I'm keeping my eyes on. Jeff Lebby's starting to make a lot of headway with a lot of people, especially after last week. The thing I'd say about Mississippi State that no one's going to give Lebby or anybody credit for, because they've gotten so much better within a year, so much better. I think Jeff Lebby, who was very hungry and has gotten a lot of buy-in at Mississippi State, has helped raise funds in NIL. I think he'd be an interesting fit. I don't think LSU goes there, though, but that's another one to keep your eye on. Another one that's brought up a lot of waves that I kind of want to spend some time on is Jeff Brom at Louisville. He's also at his alma mater. You want to talk about a play caller and just a flat-out football coach? That is Jeff Brom. He's an asshole. I don't care. So is Nick Saban. I don't know if he likes getting in all the minutia, though, of what LSU is. What do I mean? Guys, you got to be a part-time politician. You don't want to hear this, but this is the truth. If you're going to be the head coach at LSU, you got to be a part-time politician. And what I mean by that is that boosters turn their nose up when you don't give them what they want here. I'm giving you a lot of money. I gave a lot of money to get you here. I think ultimately BK's downfall was not aligning himself with the top money people around here. Jeff ain't going to do that. He's not going to do that. He's a football coach. He wants to football. I think it'd be great from a football standpoint. I think I really do like and love how he calls plays. I just don't think the fit works. I don't. The fit doesn't work on what it truly takes to be the head coach here. If it were to be him, and it seems like his name's coming up a lot more in these coaching carousel conversations, I would not hate Brom at all. I don't think it fits because you can't have a BK light situation here. He's going to work his ass off football-wise. It would not be a bad decision. But if the powers that be, hear me and hear me now. If the powers that be do hire him, they got to understand and tell the boosters, listen, this guy's just a football guy. He ain't about the booster ass kissing. That ain't him. And you're going to have to deal with it. Which leads me to this. There are some names that are out there that are going to start getting some headway within these next couple of weeks. You're going to say I'm crazy, but I know that they are. Eric Morris at North Texas and Ryan Silverfield at Memphis. There's too many coaching openings for their names to not start really heating up here. This is sourced. Those names will be flown around in some of these big jobs. They will. They already are starting behind the scenes. Eric Morris at North Texas is an offensive genius. He is. Look, here's a hot take. Eric Morris would destroy it here at LSU. He would. Works hard. Went into North Texas. From what I understand at North Texas, like apparently North Texas got a lot of oil money. Their richest booster and their richest alumni is a woman, and she is an oil tycoon. And apparently the first thing Eric Morris did, from what I've been told, is he went to her and got aligned with her and says, hey, I want to build North Texas, and I want to show the world how great this place can be. And he's gotten backing. He's gotten serious backing, and offensively, guys, they are fun to watch. I'm telling you right now, there are names that are not – these two names are not being flown out there that are going to start being. I'm telling you within 2 weeks it's going to start happening at a high level. Eric Morris and Silverfield at Memphis is someone that you need to keep your eyes on. Someone, because of all of the coaching carousel stuff that's about to happen, one of those two guys is going to make a massive wave here. And which one is it, and where's it going to be? Is it going to be with you? Blake, there's no way that we do that. You're right. There's probably more than likely that's not going to be where LSU goes. But I'm telling you, as God is my witness, do not be surprised when these names start coming out of it nowhere and you're like, Eric Morris, who in the hell is Eric Morris? Don't say that you weren't warned here. That's all I'm telling you. All right. Shane. Steve Bean with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Steve. Says, I'm hoping we see big improvement Saturday night. If so, we know we are on the way back up. Play like fighting Tigers. I hope so, Steve. I hope so, man. I don't know how much improvement you can show in 2 weeks. We're going to find out. Broad337 says, off topic, how did Cortez Hankton keep his job? I don't know. I mean, you can't fire everybody. But I do not see Cortez Hankton being retained. Even if Frank gets the job, I don't see Cortez Hankton being retained. It hadn't been good. Let's see what he does now. That maybe that BK's out of the shadows. Let's give him a chance here. Tiger Bay 24 with a $10 super chat. Blake, I totally agree about the defense. Send the house. Nobody outside of Louisiana thinks LSU will win. What an advantage to have and be unpredictable. I don't think people in Louisiana believe that you can win. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know if you can win. I'm just being real with you. Do I think that you have a chance? Do I like the matchup for you? Yes, I do. I really do, Tiger Bay 24. I do. but you're going to have to go show it. I don't know what to expect from you offensively because it's kind of like shooting blind in a way because you don't know what to expect. Guys, how short is that leash for Garrett? I don't know. It seems pretty short to me. JP Curry with a $5 super chat says BK said he didn't want to use MVB in short yardage. Do you use MVB throughout the game to confuse Bama defense through short yardage? It seems like, JV, it seems as if that's what Frank wants to do, just based off of his words, man. Just based off of his words. So we'll see. And you can't be predictable with it, right? If they see him come in the game and then you run the ball with him, it's too predictable. It's too predictable. I got to be real with you. If he comes in the game for the first time on short yardage, I'm going to let him throw the ball. I'm going to RPO, get somebody out in the flat, and let's see what happens. Confuse the shit out of them. Then they don't know. JV Curry says, too, with a $5 super chat, do you match Mansour Delane with Ryan Williams? So I thought about talking about that. Listen, you can, but the thing with Ryan Williams, he goes in the slot a lot. Could you? Yes. Do I think it? I mean, could you? Yes. I'm going full-blown nickel. I'm taking Perk out, by the way. I'm taking Perk out. I'm going full-blown nickel. I'm rotating Perk in and out. I'm not letting him stay in there the full time. I think it's time. Kenny Robinson with a $5 super chat. What do you think about Matt Patricia? Would hate it. Yeah, I'd hate it. Brock with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Brock. Looks like you got a nice buck in your avatar picture here. Good one, man. You need to take me deer hunting. One of y'all is gonna have to start taking. I've been asking y'all. No one like hits me up, and says, "Hey, man, you want to come deer hunting with me?" None of y'all do it. It's a shame. All the great information for LSU football I give y'all don't even take me deer hunting. It's a travesty, Brock. To be real with you, all I want is a nice 8-point to put on my wall right here. That's it. I know it's not a big ass, Blake. I don't even have an 8-point, but I just want a nice mounted 8-point right here on my wall. I want all the back straps, all of them. All right, last one before we get out of here. Tiger Bait with a $5 super chat says, what about bringing Dave Aranda back as the head coach? He had LSU defense on lock and would give an OC plenty of room to run the offense. Dave, as much as I love him, not really sellable. I mean, Dave might get fired at Baylor. We'll see. Gonna be interesting. But I know one thing. We'll see y'all Saturday. Y'all have a good night. Peace.